What's up, guys? It's your boy Jeremy, and I know it has been a minute, but I said, you know what? Let me record a life update. I don't know if you guys noticed, but a couple of weeks back, I had announced that I was going to be taking a break from all social media, and just taking some time away just to focus on personal growth and just seeing what life has to offer. Well, since then, I decided that I didn't really want to come back to social media. I didn't want to do the whole Facebook thing anymore. I didn't want to do the whole Instagram thing anymore, or TikTok. None of those things. I didn't really want to be a content creator anymore. So, what I really been doing is just taking some time and just figuring things out for me, and just seeing what benefits me now. So, a little bit of a life update. I decided to get a job because I didn't want to be a content creator anymore. I didn't want to do the whole, back and forth of creating videos and going live and doing all these things. So I kind of just been focusing on my health. Um, Pinpoint there, health anyway. A couple of weeks ago, I got food poisoning. I got food poisoning, and I lost about 6 pounds. I was like dead dog sick, y'all. I'm talking about like throwing up, all of the works. So you name it, and kind of took me down through there. But during that time, I couldn't eat nothing. I couldn't even drink water. So I was throwing up so bad that like I was like in like super sweats. Like, I'm talking about like somebody had poured buckets of water on me, like just sweating down. But yeah, it took me like probably about 4 days to like recover from that. I had to call out a nurse to give me some IV at home. Yeah, they do have that where they come out and do like the little IV treatments. But I got 2 bags of IV fluids and some meds and stuff in me. And it kind of like, put me back on the right track. But even then, after that, it still took me a couple of days to even be able to like eat solid foods and things like that. So it was a journey, I will say that. So even so, now, as I said, I have decided to like I want to go back to work, and thank God that being a business owner, I was kind of like a smart business owner, so to say. I did take some time to invest in myself, also invest in my future. So I didn't know, as a business owner, you really never know what the future gonna hold. And I always tell people like you gotta set yourself up for, the what ifs. If you are a photographer, what if your camera stopped working and you don't have the funds to get another camera? If you are a baker, what happens when your hands stop working and you can't, do the things that you used to do? What are you going to do to be able to sustain yourself after that? So a couple of years ago, I started thinking about my future and, what I wanted to achieve in the future and how I was going to go about doing that. So I made some smart investments. I also, invested in a couple of different products. One of which being the mixer, the K King stand mixer, the 10.5 quart mixer and the 6.5 quart mixer. And I took took that money and I invested it, and I put it up so that I could, make sure that I was good for the future. So just a quick bit of advice to anybody: if you are a business owner and you are only thinking about, the what right now, because I've been there. Trust me. There were times when, I was making a whole lot of money and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna live. I want to live in the moment. I was traveling. I'll never forget, y'all. One time I decided I wanted to just take a vacation. I mean, I woke up one morning and I purchased flight tickets to go to Vegas. I went to Vegas, like I packed my bag that morning and bought a ticket and went to Vegas for about 4 days or so. Yeah, I went down there. I'm talking about, I know I spent probably like $10,000, maybe more, because I went there and purchased a Dior bag, a saddle bag that I just had to have at the time. And that bag was like close to 5K. You don't believe me? Look it up. And I still got that bag. And I look at some purchases like that like it is an investment piece, because you kind of never know, like, if you're gonna sell it or whatever. And some stuff like that really does hold its value. So I really wasn't thinking about that at the time. I just knew I wanted it. But you got to be making some smart money decisions for your future. And every time that you make a large sum of money, you can't be running to the Mercedes dealership. You can't be running to Louis Vuitton. You can't be running to Gucci. And what I've learned about stuff, like buying stuff, you really are not buying this stuff for your satisfaction. You really are more focused on what people are going to think about you with that stuff. And you might not want to admit it, but I'm definitely man enough to admit that a lot of the stuff that I was buying, it wasn't even for my enjoyment. It was just because of the status quo. Like, this is what you should be doing because you got money. You should be riding in the latest car, or you should be riding in nice vehicles, or you should be buying a luxury car. And, you got to have, the Alexander McQueens, and you got to have the Gucci shoes, and, all of that stuff. But what I learned over the years is none of that stuff really matters, because a lot of that shit that I bought is sitting in the closet and collecting dust. Some of it ain't even in dust ruffle bags, the bags that they give you at the store. Yeah, that shit ain't even in those bags. It's just sitting there. So, I learned that it's really not about how much stuff you got. It's really about the quality of life that you are trying to build. And I had to make a conscious decision over the years to grow the fuck up and not be worried about what other people, thought about the things that I had, or what other people thought even about me. So I just been, just doing a lot of, just soul searching. And I've been focusing on my word. One of the best things that I have purchased for myself during this time is a study Bible. I got the MacArthur Study Bible. I got it off of Amazon. And what I love about this Bible is it really breaks down the scripture. So if you're reading a certain passage and you really just don't understand what it means, there's a section at the bottom that actually outlines, what that specific scripture actually means, and it breaks it down. I also read my daily bread. Like, this was one of those things that Big Mama had every morning. My great grandmother, she would get up every morning. She would read her daily bread, and she would drink her aloe vera juice. I don't know if y'all know what aloe vera juice is, but I ain't never drunk it because I always thought it looked absolutely disgusting. But Big Mama would get up every morning. She would read her daily bread, and she would drink her aloe vera juice and eat her breakfast, pray, and do all those things. And I've started to adopt some of those habits. I make it I make a conscious effort to get up every morning. I try to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. But I've been on the more lazier side now with getting up later. But what I do is I start my morning off with prayer and meditation before I even go to the gym, before I do anything in my home gym. I start with some prayer and meditation. I also have a devotional book that I'm actually reading right now. It's a 40-day experience to ignite God's vision for your life, the Greater Devotional. And it is a really, really good book. I started this a while back, and I was inconsistent with it. Now I have been making a conscious effort to not only read daily, but I'm also taking notes about what I'm reading. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Pastor Mike. I listen to his messages like every morning. When I'm in the gym, I'm playing something inspirational in the background so that I can feed my spirit. It's even got to the point where I'm more conscious about even the music that I'm listening to, because I want to make sure that I'm feeding my spirit with more positive, affirmations and things that can kind of, fuel me throughout the day. It's what I'm learning is it's one thing to go to church on Sunday, but if you don't go expecting something and you don't go bringing something into it, you're not going to get anything back. So what happens is you go to church on Sunday, and then by Wednesday, you ain't got enough in you to sustain you when the bosses are getting on your nerve, when the business is beating up on you, when a customer sent a rude email. And I'm now able to go back to those notes and I can reflect on those things that, a message that I heard or something that I wrote down. And that kind of like carries me through those moments, and it's really been so beneficial. I start reflecting on the things that I'm reading so that I can, use those notes so they can help me in moments when I'm just feeling low. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing social media updates. I have always had a podcast. I just had stopped recording. I've always had a YouTube channel. I kind of just stopped posting. And over the years, you have all of this stuff and you try to figure out how to make sense of it. And it just all becomes overwhelming. It becomes too much. And now I'm just making a more conscious effort to focus on the things that are really important to me, and that's God, feeding into myself, and then everything else falls in line. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make in life is prioritizing everything else but God and ourselves. And you can't pour into anybody else if you empty. So if you are out here focusing more on, oh, well, I got to be a mother and I got to be a father, I got to be the man of the house, I got to make sure that my family is good. And then you walking around on E, how can you pour into somebody else when you have absolutely nothing for yourself? You can't pour from an empty cup. One thing I have learned is, how people always make the analogy. They'll say this, you can't pour from an empty cup, or, God pours into the spirit and all of those things. I'm learning that the overflow that pours from the cup, that's what's meant for everybody else. Your cup is supposed to remain full at all time. God continues to pour into you. Now, what everybody, that overflow is what everybody else gets. I can't give you all of me and then I have nothing left for me. So you can't just go through life continuing to pour into everybody else and not feeding into you. So I just wanted to take a moment and just give you a quick little life update and just a motivational moment. I'm not going to promise that this is going to happen all the time, or anything like that. But I also think it's very, very essential to at least, give something back, in a way that it may not be conventional, or it may not be what you were expecting or what you were used to. But in the now, it's what I have to give right now. So thank y'all for listening. Praying that y'all have an amazing week, and continue to be blessed. Do not forget about you.